Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest, where we help you to absorb powerful, life-changing insights from top wellness experts with our daily, bite-sized wellness podcast summaries. Each episode is packed with distilled, powerful takeaways to boost your health and well-being. To support this podcast, please scroll down on whatever app you're listening on. Ratings and reviews are helpful. Even better, just send the show to a friend. Or check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page, or simply click the Support the Show link.
Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're tuning in, chances are you're ready to kick off your wellness journey, and that's awesome.
It is. But
Right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can feel a little like stepping into a jungle of information overload.
It totally can.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So many different voices and opinions out there, it's tough to know where to start.
Exactly, and that's why we're here.
That's what we were hoping to do today.
We're going to cut through all that noise. We've got a ton of research and insight.
We've got a stack of stuff to go through.
Yeah, and we're going to try to break it all down for you in a way that's actually useful.
Hopefully a little fun too, right?
Yeah, and fun.
We're going to be your guides.
Yes.
We're going to help you sort of navigate all those tempting wellness shortcuts and all the hype out there.
Separate the hype from the truly helpful stuff.
Exactly.
We're going to lay a foundation with those basics that everybody agrees on.
Right.
You know, move your body.
Gotta move.
Eat right.
Yep.
Prioritize sleep. Those are the big ones. And then we go deeper
And then we're going to take you deeper.
into the world of biohacking, cutting-edge research,
What we do.
and even what we do to stay healthy. So
All right, you ready?
let's dive in.
Okay, let's get started with those fundamentals.
Yeah, always a good place to start, right?
Always a good place to start.
Back to basics.
It can be tempting to jump into all the biohacking.
It is. All the exciting new stuff, right?
Right. But we need a strong foundation.
Absolutely. Those tried and true pillars.
Yes.
Exercise, nutrition, and sleep.
Those are the bedrock upon which everything else is built.
Yeah. They might not be as flashy as that latest supplement trend or, the newest biohacking gadget.
Right.
But they're essential
Absolutely essential.
for overall health and well-being.
Yeah, it's like building a house, you need a solid foundation before you start adding all the fancy fixtures.
Exactly. You can't.
So if you're just starting out on your wellness journey, make sure you are prioritizing these core areas.
Couldn't agree more. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about something that has gotten a ton of attention in the wellness world.
Okay.
The NAD pathway.
NAD pathway.
NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide.
Okay.
It's a coenzyme found in every cell of your body.
Wow.
And it plays a crucial role in hundreds of metabolic processes, including cellular energy production.
Okay, so you can think of it as like a key player in keeping those tiny powerhouses in your cells,
Yeah.
the mitochondria,
Exactly.
coming along.
Keeping the lights on.
Yes.
That's why there's been so much excitement around NAD and its potential for slowing aging and improving what we call health span.
Right. And some research suggests that boosting NAD levels could have all sorts of amazing benefits.
Yeah, there's some really interesting research out there.
Protecting against age-related diseases.
Potentially even extending lifespan.
It's like the fountain of youth.
Right. Everyone's looking for that magic bullet.
Bottled up in a supplement.
Well, not quite.
Oh.
While some early studies have shown promise,
Yeah.
particularly in animal models,
Okay.
the evidence for NAD supplementation in humans, it's still pretty limited.
Okay.
In fact, the interventions testing program, which is considered like the gold standard
Oh, wow.
for testing lifespan interventions,
Mm-hmm.
showed no lifespan extension in mice given really high doses of NR, which is a precursor to NAD.
So that's a little bit of a reality check.
It is.
Kind of reminds me of all the buzz around resveratrol a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Resveratrol was initially hailed as this miracle anti-aging compound found in red wine.
Everyone was drinking red wine.
Everyone was like, pass the Pinots.
Yes.
But when they actually put it to the test
Yeah.
in rigorous studies,
Uh-huh.
it failed to live up to the hype.
It's always the case, isn't it?
It often is, science is a process.
Yeah.
And sometimes things that sound really promising don't always pan out.
So what does all this mean for those considering NAD supplements?
Right, that's the big question.
Because there's different forms out there, right?
There are.
Like NR, NMN, and even direct NAD infusions.
You can get it straight into your veins.
Is one better than the other?
That's a great question. And Honestly, the research is still a bit murky on that. NR and NMN are both precursors to NAD, meaning they're converted into NAD in the body.
Oh.
While NR is thought to be more readily absorbed, there's no conclusive evidence that it's superior to NMN in terms of effectiveness.
Interesting. I actually tried NMN for a while.
You did?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I noticed my hair and nails were growing like crazy.
Oh, wow. That's a good sign.
But it also had a less desirable side effect.
Uh-oh. What was that?
Let's just say it got things moving a bit too much.
Ah, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So, that brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Side effects.
Yes.
Always something to consider when you're experimenting with any supplement.
Right. So it sounds like the jury's still out on whether boosting NAD levels through supplementation actually translates to meaningful benefits for humans, especially when it comes to longevity.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
However, that doesn't mean there aren't any potential benefits at all.
Oh, okay.
There are a couple of studies that suggest some intriguing possibilities we should explore.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Tell me more.
All right, so one study found a potential link between increased NAD levels and a reduction in skin cancer rates.
Interesting. What kind of skin cancer are we talking about?
Specifically, basal cell and squamous cell carcinomas.
Okay.
No, this is just one study.
Right.
More research is definitely needed,
Of course.
but it's a really interesting finding nonetheless.
Especially since you mentioned earlier that skin experiences the most significant decline in NAD levels with age.
Exactly. So maybe there's a connection there.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Okay, what else? What other studies?
Another study that I thought was really interesting looked at the potential benefits of NAD boosting for fatty liver disease.
Okay.
The results were a little mixed,
Mhm.
but there was some indication that it could help reduce liver fat in certain individuals.
So again, more research is needed, but these early findings certainly spark curiosity.
They do, but I think it's crucial to remember these
Yeah.
are preliminary studies,
Right.
and we need to be cautious about drawing firm conclusions.
Of course, yes.
It's also vital to read studies critically, and what I mean by that is focusing on clinical significance
Okay.
rather than just statistical significance.
So in other words, does it actually make a real difference in someone's life?
Exactly. Just because a study finds a statistically significant result
Yep.
doesn't necessarily mean it will translate into a noticeable improvement in your health or well-being.
That's a really important point.
It is.
Yeah.
And when it comes to something as complex as aging,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's wise to focus on interventions that have a strong track record of success.
It's like a good old-fashioned exercise.
Oh, there we go. Back to the basics.
Back to the basics. There's a mountain of evidence showing that regular physical activity can improve your health and potentially even extend your lifespan.
Right. And it doesn't cost hundreds of dollars for a single treatment.
Exactly.
Like some of these NAD infusions.
Exactly. Good point.
But let's not forget that study we discussed where resistance training actually made food more rewarding.
Oh, yeah. That was fascinating.
Talk about motivation to hit the gym.
Right. Who doesn't love a good post-workout meal?
Exactly. Speaking of things we do for our health,
Yes.
let's talk about our own supplement routine.
All right, let's pull back the curtain a little bit
Okay.
and share what an expert actually takes and why, just to give you an idea of what a well-informed approach to supplementation might look like.
Okay, let's hear it. Full transparency.
Full transparency.
What are you taking?
Okay, so my daily regimen includes EPDHA fish oil for heart and brain health,
Okay.
thiamine, which has shown some promise for cognitive function.
Vitamin D, because let's face it, most people are deficient.
Sure.
Methylfolate and methyl B12 to support healthy homocysteine levels.
Okay, that's a good start. I can definitely see the reasoning behind those choices. What else is on your list?
All right, let me see. Also, magnesium
Oh, okay.
in 3 forms.
3 forms.
Magnesium L-threonate, magnesium glycinate, and magnesium oxide.
Wow, you're really covering all your bases.
Got to cover all my bases.
Okay.
Ashwagandha to help with sleep and stress management.
Yes.
Electrolytes. Got to
Yep.
stay hydrated.
Important.
Creatine monohydrate for muscle and cognitive benefits.
Love it.
AG1 as a foundational nutritional supplement.
Okay.
And the pendulum probiotic, which is the only one I've found that actually contains the beneficial anaerobic bacteria.
Wow, that's quite the lineup. I'm taking notes over here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really taking a targeted approach, addressing specific needs and potential deficiencies with each supplement.
That's the idea. It's not about taking a ton of random supplements just because they're popular.
Right.
It's about understanding your individual needs. Mm-hmm.
And making informed choices based on the science.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, my turn.
Okay, let's hear it.
I also take AG1.
Nice.
Fish oil, vitamin D3, methyl B12, tongkat ali, green tea extract, yerba mate, element electrolytes, creatine monohydrate, magnesium threonate, apigenin, and theanine.
Okay, another impressive stack.
Sometimes I'll add in alpha GPC and garlic.
Nice. I see you're also incorporating a variety of supplements to support different aspects of your health.
Yeah, and I think it's important to emphasize
Yeah,
that supplements should never be seen as replacements for a healthy lifestyle.
100% agree.
They're meant to complement a foundation of good nutrition, regular exercise, and quality sleep, not replace them.
Couldn't have said it better myself. They're like the cherry on top.
Exactly.
Not the whole sundae.
Not the whole Sunday.
Right.
Okay, now speaking of health and longevity,
Yes.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on rapamycin.
Oh, rapamycin. Interesting you bring that up. It's a prescription drug that's been shown to extend lifespan in multiple animal studies,
Yeah.
including that rigorous interventions testing program we talked about earlier.
Right. Rapamycin is definitely an intriguing compound.
Yeah.
It works by inhibiting a cellular pathway called mTOR, which is involved in growth and aging.
Okay.
And while more research is needed to fully understand its effects in humans, there's growing interest in rapamycin as a potential geroprotective agent, meaning something that could actually protect against the aging process itself.
So it's not just about living longer. It's about extending the period of life where you're healthy and thriving.
Exactly, precisely.
And have you experimented with rapamycin?
I have, actually. I've been taking it myself for the past 6 years.
Wow, 6 years.
Yeah.
That's a significant commitment.
It is. I take 8 milligrams once a week.
Okay. And how do you feel when you're on it? Do you notice any difference?
Honestly, I don't feel much different,
Interesting.
aside from the occasional canker sore, which is a common side effect. But, I believe it's playing a role in supporting my health span.
It's interesting how rapamycin, despite its potential, hasn't generated nearly as much buzz as those NAD supplements we were talking about earlier.
You're right. It's definitely flown under the radar a bit.
Why do you think that is?
Well, for one thing, it's a prescription drug,
Okay.
so it's not as easily accessible.
As over-the-counter supplements.
Exactly. Plus, there's no big marketing push behind it.
Right.
The interest in rapamycin is primarily coming from the scientific community.
So you're basically a pioneer experimenting with a cutting-edge longevity intervention before it hits the mainstream.
You could say that.
But I imagine you emphasize that any decision to experiment with a prescription drug like rapamycin should be made in consultation with a qualified healthcare professional.
Absolutely. It's essential to have those conversations with your doctor
Yeah.
to make sure it's appropriate for your individual health circumstances.
Now, I know a lot of people interested in longevity interventions are also curious about biological age tests.
Ah, yes, the quest to quantify aging.
Yes, those tests that claim to tell you how old you are on the inside.
Right. I have to admit, I'm a little intrigued by them myself. I'm going to play the skeptic here again.
Really? Why is that?
Well, while these tests can provide some interesting data points, I'm not convinced they're accurate enough to be truly meaningful or actionable.
Okay.
And I still believe that chronological age remains the most reliable predictor of lifespan.
So you're saying that instead of obsessing over our biological age,
Yeah,
we should focus on those things we can control,
exactly.
our lifestyle choices.
Things like moving our bodies regularly, eating a nutritious diet, prioritizing sleep, managing stress, fostering meaningful social connections.
Those are the things that are really going to move the needle
Exactly.
when it comes to health and longevity.
Absolutely. It all comes back to those foundational pillars we discussed at the beginning.
Right, it does.
It's a reminder that wellness is a holistic journey, encompassing not just our physical health, but also our mental, emotional, and social well-being.
It's about looking at the whole picture, not just chasing after a single magic bullet.
Exactly. And it's a journey that's unique to each individual.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Totally.
And that's perfectly okay.
So as you embark on your own wellness adventure, remember to approach it with curiosity,
Absolutely.
a healthy dose of skepticism,
Always a good thing.
and a commitment to finding what truly works for you.
That's the key, finding what works for you. Yeah, it's about figuring out how to make those healthy choices a sustainable part of your life.
So it's not about striving for perfection
No,
or following some rigid set of rules.
not at all. It's about finding what works for you, what you enjoy, what you can realistically maintain over time.
I love that. It takes the pressure off.
It does.
It's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
It's about making progress.
Exactly. And it's about focusing on those small, consistent actions that add up to big results over time.
So it's less about finding that one magical quick fix and more about building those healthy habits that become second nature.
Precisely. And it's important to remember,
Yeah.
it's a journey and not a destination. There will be ups and downs, and that's okay.
It is, yeah. It's about learning from those setbacks,
It is.
adjusting course as needed,
Absolutely.
and celebrating those small wins along the way.
Exactly. And perhaps the most important question for someone starting their wellness journey isn't what supplement should I take or what's the latest biohack, but rather, how can I make healthy choices a natural and enjoyable part of my daily life?
I love that. It's about shifting your mindset from, I have to do this, to, I want to do this.
Precisely, because when you find ways to make wellness a source of pleasure and fulfillment,
Yeah.
it stops feeling like a chore.
It becomes a lifestyle,
It
a
does.
way of living that nourishes your mind, body, and soul.
And that's what we're ultimately aiming for, a lifestyle that supports not just longevity, but also vitality, purpose, and joy.
Well said. So to everyone listening who's just starting out on their wellness journey, remember,
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
yes, focus on building those foundational habits.
Experiment, explore, and find what truly works for you.
Most importantly,
Enjoy the journey.
thanks for joining us on the deep dive. It really is all about finding that balance, isn't it?
It is finding what works for you and makes you feel good.
And it's a journey, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like you just arrive at wellness one day and you're done.
Nope, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, it's about constantly learning
And adapting.
and figuring out what your body needs at different stages of life.
Exactly, and giving yourself grace along the way.
Yes, that's so important. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress.
Couldn't agree more.
So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
if you're just starting your wellness journey, remember, it's not about finding a quick fix.
No magic bullets here.
No magic bullets. It's about building sustainable habits. Yes, those foundational pillars we talked about. Exercise, nutrition, sleep.
The building blocks of a healthy life.
And then from there, you can start to experiment and explore.
Find what works for you.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to try new things.
Absolutely, and don't get discouraged if something doesn't work out.
Right. Just keep learning and adjusting.
And most importantly, enjoy the journey.
It's all about feeling good, right?
That's what it's all about.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it helpful.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Lab Digest. If you received value from the podcast, I have 3 asks of you. 1, share the show on social media with your friends and tag the show at the Wellness Lab Digest on Instagram. Number 2, please leave a rating and review in whatever app you're listening on. And last but not least, please let me know what topics you would like us to cover in the future. You can contact me at empoweringmen.org/contact. And right now we have a free ebook to get you started on your wellness journey as well. That's empoweringmen.org/contact. To support this podcast, check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page or simply click the Support the Show link.